play random stuff, you know? Oh, okay, good, because I was starting to play some unnecessary things. I was just I'm just getting bored. Hi, hello. It is Thursday. It is a beautiful day, and turning into night. And this is jamplay.com. My name is Dave Brown. This is week 4 of Jam of the Week. It's a country jam, if you didn't get that vibe. You know, I was a little hesitant calling it a country jam because it's like one step removed away from country jamboree. And that sounds lame, but country jam sounds fun. I'm going to do my best. I wouldn't consider myself a country player per se, but I got this here guitar with a B-bender that I don't use. Well, I use the guitar, I don't use the B-bender. I've been known, I play mandolin, I've been known to dabble in the realm. But if you like this, there's more country going on that happened just before me. I'm sure some of you noticed Tyler Grant's been doing great. Obviously, Jamplay's got a slew of things, but we're going to do this country jam right now because for a limited time only, we got this 1 3-chord jam. Okay. It's not a 1 to 3 chord jam. It's a jam that consists of 3 chords. You'll pick up on it. We'll follow. So, pretty easy progression today. Let's just go over the basics of the progression. And for those of you who have never joined the Jam of the Weeks, essentially the concept is this. You're stuck at home, but ways to grow is it's good to jam with people and or take on new material. So what I'm trying to do is recreate that moment of getting together with your buddies and going, hey, I got a D chord, I got an F chord, and I got a G chord. Spoiler, those are the chords today. Let's throw them together. Let's try to make a song. All right, well, I'm feeling this, train beat, so let's try and do a country thing. And then you say to yourself, well, okay, cool. We got a basic skeleton of a song. What do we do with it thereafter? So, my job is to give you 3 different layers of, essentially 3 different layers. We'll kind of smoothen the gaps in between those layers as well with other ideas. If anybody has any questions, obviously, you can send them over to Jason. He'll help you out. But basically, the moral of the story is I'm going to give you 3 different layers of ways to you can interpret this little jam, each one getting progressively harder and harder. Then we got 4 licks, country-ish licks towards the end. I might have been, I don't know if I was hinting at any. I was before we started filming. Anyway, moral of the story is, that's the second time I've used that in the past 3 minutes, but there's a lot of morals to be had today. Jason's got your questions. Don't be shy. Say hi, and we'll let him know. I'm happy to answer them. We're going to get going, because that's not the worst idea. So we are at the top of the first page here, and it's the very first thing is just a progression in whole notes. Like, if you were just starting guitar, and you want to hang with your friends around the campfire or whatever, but you are not, we'll say, well-equipped in the world of guitar, you can just play these simple chords. Most of you guys know a D chord and a G chord, I'm sure. F chord might be difficult for some, but I got you. We'll give you a cheater. And you'll have to forgive me. We're already starting this. Because okay, my buddy, sorry, I should have a tuning pedal, so unprofessional. A buddy of mine hooked me up with some pairs of 8s strings, and I'm usually a 10 player, and I took the risk today and threw them on. I'm sure my guitar hates me. It's probably going to be putting up a fit tonight, but I kind of like it. I definitely, especially some of these country bends, feels like a toy. It feels fun. I have back issues, so it's like, I probably should have done this a while ago, but we're exploring new territory tonight. Speaking of exploring new territory, we got a D chord. That's going to hang for 4 bars. Okay? Then it's going to go to the 4 chord. We'll come to that walk up in a second, but we're just going to keep it simple with just a G. Then you're going back to D for 2 bars. Then it goes F for 1 bar, G for 1 bar, and then you're back to D. So it's a flat 3 chord, 4 chord, 1 chord. If you were to say, now I want to play a bar chord, you are in the wrong place. No, I'm just kidding. I don't feel like figuring out the capo right now, but let's just give you a cheater F. You can go, when he goes to the F, you can do an F major 7. It's not the most ideal. You can also bar those top. If you can at least get those 4 strings, that'd be better. But it's not gonna sound completely wrong. I'm gonna play through it out of curiosity, just to hear what that sounds like. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna play whole notes, and when I get to that F, I'm gonna play that F major 7, quote unquote, the cheater F. I don't consider you a cheater though. You are breaking new ground just like me today, so welcome. Thanks for hanging. Let's hear how it sounds. So again, we're just playing whole notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Going to G. So I make that G, you can also make this G. So it's a little more color than you're asking for. Let me go back and I'll play normal F so you can just hear the difference. So this is the D, we got 2 bars before we go into F. So here's a regular F. So, I would probably recommend a full bar chord F if you're, just getting into bar chords. This is a perfect time to practice it. You can kind of ease into it pretty simply. Yeah. That's if you just picked up the guitar, you knew a couple chords and you wanted to hang out. Welcome to the club. Okay, now we're going for the rhythm part, which is basically what we're doing right now, but we're just expanding on it. We're gonna take a look at that. Oh, I did it in 3s. Bar 4, just kidding, bar 5, it goes to the G chord. That makes sense. 4 bars of D plus 1 is 5, right? So on the G chord, in the F chord in this progression, I wanted to keep it simple. I wrote out what I kind of eventually came up with over this backing track when I'm doing over the D chord. So we'll play exactly what you're hearing on the track, but I'll kind of expand upon why I came up with that or how or who. So, but my point is, if we're on the G chord, that's the general rhythm that you're going for, is a kind of vibe is, well, let's just cover that. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to play, again, this is bar 5 all the way at the bottom of the page there, middle measure. You're going 1 and, so you're going to do downstrokes on both. And then you got up, down, up. Okay, so it's, told ya. And so if you can kind of get that to the point where it doesn't get phased, if you want to think about another rhythm, you can always kind of come back to. And so notice that and of 1 is stronger. You're going 1 and, you're really emphasizing the end of 1. And not consequently 3 and, because it's the same thing times 2. 3 and, 1, 3 and. So that's the essential concept with the strum. You're kind of keeping that. A lot of strum.
Sorry about that, everybody. It looks like we lost the feed. Trying to get it back with Dave. Usually it comes back within about 5-10 seconds or so.
Guys, sorry we lost the feed. I shut down my computer. I tried to make it good to go, but we don't have the best internet around here. So my apologies if that's frustrating. I'm not a fan either, but I'm glad we can do this. I'm glad we can hang. back to that rhythm part. So you're going, so what I was getting at is a lot of like funk music, funk strumming, rhythm guitar, a lot of the times your arm, right hand is on a grid, okay? And essentially what you're saying is it's that whole option, but what comes out is when you kind of just like punch the card. Like on beat 4 I'm gonna hit, I'm not hitting on the 4 kind of a thing. And it just creates a Morse code that is essentially, that seems like a weird, I feel like I was explaining it better until we got cut off there. Basically, you don't want to screw up the general rhythm. You want to keep going and, you know, either play more or less just by simply applying the pick to the strings, but this is still going. Moral of the story. How many morals are we dealing with? All of the morals today. I need to get some better sayings going. Okay, 4 already. Thanks for keeping track, Jason. I appreciate it. I thought we were at 3, but who am I? I got other things on my mind, like the 1 chord. So let's go back to the D chord. That's going to be the central strum pattern for it. It's going to go. But we're going to get a little creative with our middle finger here. Essentially, you could hold the full D chord, or you can kind of just make this D5, which is the open 4th string, the 2nd fret on the 3rd string, and the 3rd fret on the 2nd string. Tends to be a little more gusto, rock solid kind of a thing. Same with this G. It's just a little more stable kind of a sound. So my point is you're going to use your middle finger, so it's going to go. So that's all the same. Again, you can keep your middle finger down, make the full D if you want. Especially if your guitar is giving you trouble. Now we're going to take our middle finger and go to the 3rd fret on the 4th string, and you're going to play that 1 note and snap it to the open string and then play the chord. So we got. Okay, one more time. And by one more time, I mean like, let's do it like 3 more times. 4. Okay, one more. Now, you could literally just do that. Let's just hear what that sounds like. Often, I've mentioned it before with some of these, often I'll compose these and just try and shove as much information as I can into a measure, just because I'm like, oh, this would be cool, and this would be cool, and they should know that. And not always the most practical thing in a real life scenario. Sometimes it's better to just hold the fort down. So if we just simplify that without doing... So it totally works, but we're going to add a little more. So it's going to go. Right. Then we're going to put our ring finger, and by ring finger I mean middle finger. God, I'm all over the place. On the 3rd fret of the 5th string. We're going to go up twice on that. And so I'm still basically... still holding that D chord. Now it's a D over C, which is a great sound.
My apologies again, everybody. Looks like we have lost the feed once more. I'll give it 5-10 seconds here, see if Dave's feed automatically comes back.
I'm guessing we're back. Oh my God. Tuesday we didn't have any drops, and now we're already at 2, and it's like quarter after. My apologies if this becomes a thing. We'll totally stop this and we'll do it right some other time. But the show must go on until then. So again, to recap, we got... So we're going up twice on that chord. So again, you're going pulling, right? Okay, now we're gonna do the walk up. So the walk up is pretty straightforward. You're gonna basically keep that same strum pattern going. You got, but instead of stopping on that last up strum, we're gonna do one more down right after. So it's gonna go, okay? Makes for a great ending. Okay, but after that, you're gonna walk chromatically up the 6th string, chromatically meaning playing every single note. And so you're just walking it right up to the root of that G chord, right? So you're gonna go, and so because it's and, 4, and 1, okay? And then we're right back at that strum pattern that we practiced before. So that measure into the G will be, so let's do that again, and maybe 7 more times, who knows. Okay, let's do it again. Here it goes.
Well, my apologies again, everybody. It looks like Dave's having some internet stability issues. If this keeps happening, we're probably going to cut out the feed and reschedule this. That way it's a more complete lesson. So far, he hasn't come back yet. Hopefully it'll come back
Shall we
within
stop?
5
I don't know if you can
seconds
hear me,
or so.
but
It looks like he's back now, at least audio anyway. It looks like we got video now as well.
shall we stop? Three in like 10 minutes is pretty bad. So I'm down to stop. I'd hate to like ruin this for people. Basically myself. I'm just let's give it a couple minutes. Okay. Fair game. We're having some technical difficulties. It happens. We're going to keep going, and if it shuts off on us again or whatever, we will reschedule. I can't predict the Wi-Fi gods. Sometimes they're angry, sometimes they are not. So, where were we? I don't know. Let's practice going into that G chord again. So you got, oh, thanks. We were walking out to the G. Yep. So that's it. So let's see if we can go through it. Well, we might as well cover the F part. So you're coming from the D, so you got 2 bars of D. That's 4 bars, I don't know why. Now my mind's all over the place. So we got F chord. It's exactly the same as the G. In fact, you could even just slide that bar chord up. Why did I change the strings the day of the thing? It's not too bad. I guess I'm just applying more pressure than I normally should, which is good. You should play with a lighter touch. So that's the idea. You're coming from an F chord, and you can totally go to the open G, or you can continue up like this. That's about it, guys. That's the whole rhythm part that I got written out for you. We can talk about kind of expanding upon it in a second. But let's go for it. Let's play over the track. We'll just play along, get some good practice in. It's about 3 minutes. We should just hang for it. Ready? Hope you got your guitar. Here we be. Just kidding. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start over. Why? It doesn't like when I press buttons, apparently. So that's the idea. I threw the walk-in in because it's something that's fun, it's easy. But now that I'm hearing it over this track that I created, I didn't create this track specifically for today's lesson. I was kind of reusing an old track, and it doesn't necessarily jive with whatever's going on in that bottom end, but it's still fun to play, like whatever. Like you're interpreting the chord. It's a great thing to do, generally speaking, when going to the 4 chord. So not the end of the world there, but my apologies for not having it, my whole thing sewn up tight. Yeah. So when you go to the G chord, you can continue to do some of those hammers and pull-offs. They all kind of sound good. You can do like the 3rd fret on either the 4th or the 5th string. I started to throw a little bit in that, but I wanted to kind of just keep it simple, generally speaking. Again, you could even just keep strumming the D chord. You don't have to do all those riffs, especially if somebody else is doing that. You got a 2 guitar player thing, and one of you is playing the chords, and maybe, I don't know. Again, I gotta work on the pressure of these 8s. But yeah, so that's the idea. So for instance, like if we were going to the 4 chord, so what I'm doing, I'm just kind of, you can even use the crunchiest of Gs. That's the best. Getting that flat 3 in there with the 3. So, you can kind of use all that to build tension. Notice I played not that last pass, but basically what you're doing is you're kind of just rocking some minor pentatonic over it, But instead of grabbing that note here, those are both game. Full disclosure, I kind of stole this. I mean, it's definitely a country thing to do, but I once had to play Pit for Tommy, the Who's Tommy. And there's a song, I forget the name of that song, but it's right before It's a Boy, where it's like, it's a lot of that. It's a cool thing to do. Cool. Let's see, questions. I love questions. Is there a reason why a chorus, why you choose the bar F over the first position F? I'm sorry, I'm going blind. Is there a reason why you choose a bar F? So I'm a little confused. It says bar F over first position F, and the bar F is in first position. So basically, as far as an F chord goes, I mean, you can do a simplified version of it, but it's all the E shape in this first place right here. I'm kind of keeping it simple. Like, honestly, if you really know your fretboard, if you really know the cage system, you can kind of do wherever. Like, you can, if we're playing the D in this area, you can use, that's some really good voice leading right there that I like. You can always, a lot of people kind of do that anyway, like, no, that's not what it is, Dave. Got your G shape there. So, you can get creative with it. He brings up some good points. Let's talk other voicing. So if it's a D chord, you can play this D chord up here. And then we have F and G. Those are probably your best options, but you can, again, you can use a G shape, which really comes with that classic pentatonic scale. Instead of thinking about the root below as an A shape, we're going to do a little bit of lickage in that area in a second. Yeah, just these triads right here are good options. If I think some other stuff later, any of the chicken picking licks, like, so for instance, we're going to, We're going to go over one in a second that kind of outlines some of these shapes. That's what a lot of it is. It's kind of just, as long as you understand the shapes, there's things you can do off those shapes that are kind of predictable shape-wise. I know it sounds vague, but it'll make sense in a second. Yeah, I think that'll do it. I think we're going to move on to some licks because licks are fun. So again, I'm not a country player, guys, so don't hate if this isn't the most authentic country you've ever heard. But I don't think you'll hate it. I hope not. Anyway, so again, we're starting with the D chord. I was mentioning this. The first lick is going to start with this open D and then just this bar right here. So instead of playing this whole big old bar, you're just going to bar strings 2 and 3, which allows you to play the open 4th string. And then you're going to hybrid pick this, okay? So, and I was all strumming that earlier. You're going to play the open 4th string, then you're going to hop 2 and 3 with your middle and ring, okay? So middle's on the 3rd string, ring's on the 2nd. We're just going back and forth between that. And so you're going to go a whole step below. You're always going to drone the open 4th string in between these. So we're going to play straight across the 7th, straight across the 5th, and we're going to split it. Index finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, middle finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. Likewise, same exact shape on strings, same exact strings. 1st fret and 2nd fret. And what did I end up coming up with? So you could, I kind of leave it at that. And then you play that one more time before you go to 5 and slide in. So. What? Okay. That's the gist of it. And essentially you kind of, again, here you're kind of implying the G chord over it. But you end up on like C and A here, which is, again, play D7 chord. That's not part of that. Yeah, so essentially you got this E shape that you're kind of dealing with. A shape. And this one's gapped by. So all of that's game. I know I'm not really teaching. I'm just kind of saying things out loud as I'm showing you what's on the fretboard. If you wanted to really explore this, because apparently I'm already on that topic, so let's just talk about it and then we'll actually play the lick. But if you, conceptually wise, if you wanted to use more of this kind of double stop action, it's going to sound good over pretty much most of it. You can alter things a little bit, so instead of playing the F sharp, you can play F natural when it goes to the G7, as well as the F chord, right? Okay, but if you were to play, you can play 1 and 2, 3 and 4, straight across 5, straight across 7, split on 8 and 9, split on 10 and 11, straight across 12, split again, split again. We've already gone over these because they are the same. Guys, I know you're ready for the lick. Let's just stop beating around the bush and just play it. This thing will sound pretty decent over the whole track, I want to say. So let's just explore. I'm just going to keep playing it over and over again. We'll play the track and I'll just keep playing. Sound like a plan? I like it. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do it again. Let's try and slide into the last one. Yeah, that's what it would be, something like that. Change it again. Let's keep playing it. I won't get weird with it. Maybe I will get a little weird. We got another question, but I'll give it a... Cool, you get the idea. One thing I did do, so again, like I was talking all about shapes. If it's based around this A shape and you know you're going to a G chord and you know where to find a G chord with an A shape, you can do the same exact pattern climbing down from this. So it's going 7. So you got chromatic from where you would bar your ring finger normally, right? Then relative to this, you would go to the next fret with your middle finger right behind that. So there's no fret gap. You know, there's 5, now you're in 4 and 3, everything's accounted for. Move that down the whole step, and then right below that, half step below that, you can go open. So likewise, you can go, you know, you can't drone the open 4 string. You could, but it's technically that worked really well because we're on a D chord and it's a D string, D root. And then you're basically right. So, you know, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4. What? I'm just messing around. Question. Wonder if I could work a drop D E string on that. Yes, you could, actually. Thank you for A, putting up with my slow reading. B, reminding me. Because we're in D, might as well drop it, right? Sounds a little more badass. So it's not the worst idea to drop D on this. For those of you who don't drop D normally. Essentially, if you need a quick fix, your 4 strings of D. You're just trying to make it mellow out. So, yeah, it sounds even... Great idea. So, dropping D is always a good thing to do if you can. If you were to, while we're on topic, if you were to play an F chord, so normally we kind of bar like this, but now you have to compensate. So what I would do is I put your ring finger and then pinky, so ring finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret, pinky on the 3rd fret of this 4th string, and then you got the rest of that chord. So middle finger, normal F on top. Yeah, that's never a bad idea. Good call, random caller who texts. Okay, so that was lick numero uno. Yep, we're going to lick number 2. So lick number 2 is basically this cliche, this country cliche, but it's a great thing to do. It's a pedal steel thing. I'm sure if any of you have approached country before, you've heard that or seen somebody play that. We're going to apply it both minorly, not minor league, minorly, which isn't a word, so it's a good thing I clarified that. Nonsense. So normally it's applied in major, usually. Not something you can do if you have a floating bridge. I wouldn't mess with that. So, but each pentatonic scale can be moved up a minor third and make it sound minor. Minor third meaning 3 frets. So you got bluesy stuff. crazy microphonic stuff going on right there. But basically, you can either sound country and or Allman Brothers E in major, or you can give it some blues stank by going up 3 frets. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to take that kind of thing. So what you're doing is you're barring your pinky on, in this case, the 13th fret on both the 1st and 2nd string, taking your ring finger. Notice how all 3 fingers are down on that 3rd string to give it a little gusto. And you're gonna bend up, and you're gonna pick it twice. So what you're doing is your pinky's staying steady, and you're bending that 3rd string up a whole step, which then turns it into that E shape essentially. As far as sonic intensity is concerned. Integrity, not intensity. Neither one of those is really, nobody describes those things like that, so I don't even know why I bother. So that's the first half of the lick. You're gonna play it twice. And the 3rd time you're gonna leave it hanging, and you're gonna come up with an upstroke. You're gonna bring it down, you're gonna pull off to your index finger. Your pick is gonna, and this is really helpful to pretending like you're just strumming in slow motion. You're gonna use rest stroke. So rest stroke meaning you play a string and your pick's physically stopped by the string right above it. Okay, so if you can do that, you're gonna push right through 12 on the 4th string. So it's, and then down to 10 on the 3rd string. So then we're gonna slide back 3 frets into that classic position, and we're gonna start with a pre-bend. And so we're gonna bring it down, pull, and then give it another fair shot. We'll put our ring finger back down on the 9th fret, and bend up into that major 3rd. So in total, you got, one more time. A little slower. And this one will also generally sound good in most places. In fact, when you move it up to the 10th fret and you're in this position, most guitar players are thinking D minor. Oh yeah, I'm still in drop D, huh? So most guitar players will think of this classic position as that D minor thing. However, it's also F major 7. Major 7? Why did I... Just kidding. It's just F major. And like I kind of mentioned it earlier, like if you're... You know... So you can use that right there. And so when it goes to the F chord later, when you do that, instead of being minor and bluesy, it's actually the equivalent of doing this over the D chord, so it's going to sound major. Why don't we just put it against the track, guys? That's what y'all want to hear anyway. You don't want me to just ramble along. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do it again. If you only go like a half bend there, you know what I wanted to mention? So I totally dropped the ball on that. If this is F and it's going to a G, you can just go straight up. I didn't mention that, but let's try and put that same type of bend there. We'll start from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're only going to do the half bend. Oops. Here we go. We're going to stay on the F. do a couple more times. I already screwed it up, guys. Let's do it a couple more times. Couple more. That wasn't what it's supposed to be. Sometimes my fingers slip on that, sorry. It's not easy. Sometimes, you know. So apparently I need to keep practicing too. But it's fun. It's a cool little lick, I think. Lick number 3 is one of my, I think, I just like it because it creates a lot of tension. We're going to go up into this D shape, but we're going to treat it like a D7 kind of thing. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to start with our middle finger on the 13th fret of the 2nd string. We're going to give it a hold bend. We're going to get our middle finger ready on that 14th fret of the 1st string. So again, we're going to bend. I got my first finger down below it on the 12th fret of the 2nd string. I'm pushing up a whole step, and then I'm playing that. So essentially what you're doing is, if I had my beat bender, that would have been perfect. I could just play this and it would do that bend automatically for me. Maybe I should set that back up again. Let's get a poll going. Jason loves polls. That's not cut. All right, keep moving. Keep moving. Get your head out of the gutter. So, wait. Okay, so middle finger. We took a poll last week, guys. Get your mind out of the gutter. We learned a lot too. It's scientific, okay? So after that, you're gonna release the bend. So you're bending up, playing that. You're still holding that. You're gonna release that. Then you can play 12 on the 1st string. Okay? Would have figured you would give me crap about that by now. Okay, so that is that first half. Then you're just kind of in this major scale position, so you're just going to pull from 13 to 12 with your middle and your index. Play 14 on the 3rd string. Okay, so let's just kind of... I mean, I would cut me off. Okay, then after that, so this PS, this one's leading into the 4 chord, so it's very specific where it belongs. Because right after that, you're gonna do this. You're gonna put your first finger on the 11th fret of the 2nd string and get your pinky ready on the 15th fret. So that's the minor 3rd and the root of your 4 chord. And we're gonna bend into the major 3rd. Essentially, it's kind of that kind of concept. Technically, it's just a half step. I chose to do it like this, as opposed to like this. Probably more often than not, people would tend to opt for that. I just thought the B string had a little more clarity to it. It was a little brighter. Sometimes with this kind of thing, you want to spank. You want a little snap to it. So that's why I chose that note. So again, in total, it's going to go... Okay, in context, it comes in on the of 2, so it's like 1, 2. That bend's definitely easier with 8s. Okay, so one more time. 1, 2. What? So that's what it is. I don't know. We can talk about it a little more. And let me play it a little slower. Well, how are we doing on time? Maybe I should keep going. I'll play it a little slower, a little more, and then we'll get it against the track. So 12 minutes. Thank you, sir. 1, 2. 1, 2. So again, that it's a subtle thing. You really want to be able to accurately get that major third. Excuse me. You get the idea. Let's put it against the track. Okay. Yeah, that's only in one spot, so hopefully I don't mess it up because I'm going to have to rewind a lot. So just to put it in context, we'll start right from the beginning this time. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, then bar 4, 2, 3. Here's bar 4. 1, 2. So it sounds good in context. Let's do it again. We'll just have to start from the beginning every time. That's fine. 1, 2. Just got me. Here's bar 3. 1, 2. Do it again. Bar 3, the most underrated bar of all time. I'm just gonna say that. It's a bold stand. 2. Here's my favorite. 3. I don't know. It's not really my favorite. 1, 2. That's fun. Let's keep doing it. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Oh, guys, I missed it. See, it happens to the best of us. I just got thinking about other things, you know, it's dinner time and 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay, so we got one more lick. If you guys have any questions, I'd love to hear them. Looks like we've been doing pretty good, although he's typing, so maybe we just got cut off. No, I mean, you think I should go eat right now with like 5 minutes left? Is that what you're saying, Jason? Because don't tempt me. No, we're gonna stay focused. I'm gonna not answer my guts' inner demons. We're gonna keep on track. We got one more lick for you before we get going. This one's a little more scalular. You know, I've been saying that word for probably 15 years, and I've never checked to see if it's an actual word. Scalular in nature. Okay? It's basically, first of all, I just want to say that if you're trying to get good at country, you should definitely learn major pentatonics with the blue note. So you probably already know pentatonics in general, but like... because if you can like... I don't know, it's just good to outline the harmony, right? So something to think about. This is going to kind of do that, but not really. It's all over the place. So we're going to start on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string with an upstroke. This is going to come in on the 4, so it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're kind of anticipating that one note, and you're missing out on the downbeat, so you're just going to skip over one downstroke. So it's 3, 4, up, down. What is it? So that's the first half. Let's just go over that. So you're going. It's basically a D minor pentatonic, but we're adding in that B in there, that second, the 6th scale degree. And, you know, you can resolve it there. But we're gonna keep going. So, but instead of going to the open 4 string right there, which is an option. What? What? That's what we're hopping to. It sounds really bad, but in context, I promise it'll be good. So we're gonna start walking up. We're gonna go in the up strum on the open 6 string, down on the 1st fret, up on the 2nd fret, down on the 5th fret, excuse me. We'll go to the 2nd fret after that, but let's just go up to this 5th fret. So it's gonna go. Okay. Now, apparently we're going to the 2nd fret on the 4th string, so 5th string. Let's do that. So it's really good alternate picking exercise. 3, 4, up, 3, 4, up, down, 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 up, down, down. Okay, we're almost done. We might as well finish it off, right? That's a good idea. We're gonna take, after you play that 2nd fret on the 5th string, you're gonna roll your 1st finger over the 2nd fret on the 3rd string, 4th string. You're gonna hit it, immediately slide up a half step, and then back, and then pull off. We'll take it that. There's gonna be a couple more notes, but we'll just do that much. Okay, so we got. Okay, now a couple more notes to finish it off. You're just gonna play that 2nd fret on the 5th string with an upstroke, and then down on the open 4th string. That's technically the lick. It'll probably feel natural to want to play the chord after it too. So here it is without the chord at the end, as written. Okay, again, we're coming in on the end of 4, the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, but it'll probably feel good to kind of pop the chord after. Ah. Okay, so that's an option too. It'll also sound good like over the G chord, but instead of popping a D chord, you just pop a G chord. And you can even kind of over the F. You can go through it. I'll just go for it. Apparently my fingers aren't working today. Let's start from the beginning of the track. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Hopefully you enjoyed this lesson. Again, you want some more country. There's plenty on Jam Play, but Tyler Grant's been doing a great job at 6 prior to me on Thursdays here. Next week, we got Americana. So it's a little more similar genre vibe, but not completely country. As well as practicing fundamentals on Tuesday is going to be timing and groove. Okay, I'm going to play this along. If you have any questions, get them on in. Let's see where this takes us. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Let me give it another shot. We got another shot. No, hold on. Let me do it right. Guys, here we go. Got it. Anyway, you know what? I think that's as good a place as any to kind of cut it. It's not my cleanest lick. Almost want to be faster. I couldn't just get it just right, but I gave you 4. And 3.5 out of 4 ain't bad, I don't think. I hope I get credit for the other ones. Not, yeah, that's all I've got to say. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. There's a couple minutes left. Jason, what do you think? You know what? I'm just going to keep, well, he's typing. I'm going to keep playing it over it while he's saying stuff, but I think we're good too. Talking about putting it all together, that's a great idea. This is why it's a two-man operation, because I can't, you know, sometimes I just can't see the forest through the trees. So putting it all together, okay, so some of these will sound good in succession. I'm going to just try and play them in order. So what we'll do is the first 2 bars, bar 2 will be kind of hanging after that first bar. Then lick number 2 will come on bar 3, and lick number 4 has to come in bar 4. And then we'll save lick number 4 for after the G chord. So we'll kind of hang on the G chord. Let's see if I can do that. Thanks for putting me on the spot, man. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Good. So to me, it's pretty clear that they weren't composed in a way that they were meant to be a cohesive solo. They're all kind of totally legit ideas that work over something like this. And perhaps if I had rearranged them slightly different, it might have sounded a little more gellant. But hope you dig it. Pleasure as always, guys. I'm going to sign off before I make any more people do things that they shouldn't do. Don't hurt yourself. Try 8s. They're fun. We'll see you next time, huh?